Talking about the next type of epithelial tissues, which is simply the simple cuboidal epithelial tissue. They have secretory and absorptive function. Where can you find this type of cuboidal? You find them mainly at the level of the kidney, precisely the proximal, the distal, and the collecting duct. Now, you can also find them at the level of the bronchioles, the testes, and the ovaries. Stratified cuboidal epithelium, they are really not that much common. They carry out function protective secretory and excretory function located mainly in the salivary glands, mammary glands, and sweat glands. Talking about the simple columnar epithelium, that's made up of epithelial tissues of simple epithelial tissues that are made up mainly entirely of columnar cells. They have secretory and absorptive function. Where they are primarily found is a level of the gastrointestinal tract. Means whatever your digestive exposure that you are narrating, simply know that all the secretory and absorptive function are carried out by mainly this epithelial tissue. Now, what about the stratified columnar epithelium? This is a type of epithelium that is not really common, but however, they have secretory and protective function. They are located in the parts of the conjunctiva of the eye, the malar urethra, the vas deferens, and also parts of the mammary glands, the sweat glands as well. What about this type of epithelial tissue that neither respect the simple nor stratified? We call them the pseudo-stratified, and these cells are always or almost entirely columnar, so we simply call them pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. You find them mainly, yeah, they're also known as a respiratory epithelium because they are primarily found at the level of the respiratory system. Now, the third criteria is simply the presence of cilia or not. When you look at epithelial tissue, the shape of the cell, the number of cell layers, the third criteria that you have to look is simply, does the epithelial tissue have cilia or not? If it has cilia, you simply give a name, you add cilia onto it. If it has but a protein keratin, you add keratin onto it. Keratin is simply a protein that is found inside of this cells. The protein, this coloration permits us to detect the protein keratin. Now, what about this cilia? What about this cilia found on this epithelial tissue? Can you name this epithelial tissue and also this one as well? Okay, you can post the video and name. However, I'm giving you the name. Simply, the name is simply pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium for this epithelium, and for this you have keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Yes, this epithelial tissue is made up of many layers of squamous cells. Now, I'm talking about glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium, a gland is simply a structure, it's simply a cell or a group of cells that secrete a useful substance in the body. When it is one cell, we call it uniglands. When it is made up of so many, when a gland is made up of so many cells, we call it multiglands. So where can you find uniglands and multiglands? Now, for uniglands, you can find them in between epithelial tissue. Like for example, this is an epithelial tissue found in the respiratory epithelium. It's made up of primarily of pseudostratified columnar epithelium. These cells in between, they are all glands. These cells secrete mucus. These cells are called goblet cells. They secrete useful substances. So this is a uniglandular epithelium. This is a unigland. Meanwhile, a gland can be made up of so many cells that came together to do their secretions. This type of is a multi-gland, and depending on the type of secretions, they can be depending on the type of secretion, you can call them serous glands or mucous gland. Their secretion, serous glands secrete a secretion that is more of liquid. It's more of liquid, very, very light. Meanwhile, mucous glands secrete viscous fluid. The fluid has more of protein substances than liquid itself. You can find these glands, these multi glands, like for example the mammary gland, the salivary gland, all of them are made up of multi gland. Meanwhile, uniglands are found primarily in the respiratory tract. They are the one that helps to keep the respiratory tract moist.